All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. I'm Vinny, along with Kim, for a special live edition of Dockside tonight. Kim, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. Just fending off the cold still here in Chicago.
Yeah,
and trying to fend off an actual cold too.
You know what? I understand that too. I'm finally getting to the point where my voice is back. So
Definitely sounding back to your old self.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, you know what? We're here to talk all about the Emmy award winning web soap. Sorry, was there the Emmy award winning web soap The Bay, created by Gregory Martin, starring Christos Andrews, and so on and so forth. And we have we're in the middle of season 7, so Central Point, season 7, episode 10. But before we get into that, I do want to go ahead and just go over some programming updates. This coming Sunday night, it'll be episode 2 of Book Beyond Reality, as myself, along with Veronica Sloan from the mother-daughter wrestling podcast duo, The Sloans, we go over Andre the Giant. What would happen if Andre the Giant faced The Big Show? So that'll be on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right where you're watching this right now. Also, Suds News comes back this coming Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time as well. Angela had some internet issues this past week, then just had a very bad week full of bad luck. So it seems to be going around. So we will be back Monday with that. This coming Saturday is the Royal Rumble, 2 p.m. Eastern, emanating from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So it'll be 2 p.m. Eastern time here. So it's going to be a nice early day. But either way, that's some of the programming updates. The show Buzzness is up and running. It's the website that Angela's been working hard on. So we're going to be contributing to that along with the rest of the Gimmick Table Media Group. So keep an eye out for that, and just watch for all of the articles coming out from that website. All right. So season 7, episode 10 of The Bay. It was an eventful episode.
It was. It definitely was. Short as usual. I think after credits and then just kind of, more credits. I think in total it was 17 minutes, maybe.
I think the total runtime was about 25 minutes.
Yeah. But in terms of actual content, it flew by as usual, but it was definitely action packed.
I think one of the things that I find myself a little annoyed at watching it as we are binging it like every week or whatever, is that the constant amount of flashbacks to what previously happened. I get it in the moment because of how the Bay kind of came about, and they never knew which streamer or network that they were going to be on. So they had to kind of set the tone and be like, hey, this is what's been going on.
Yeah. We're here to catch you up a little bit. Here's what you missed on last week's, things like that. But when you are binging it, I've noticed this too. It's like, I don't need the previously on. I just watched this. I know exactly what just went down. I don't need this. But, nature of the
time, I get it.
But, no, I mean, this episode, it kicked off with, we hear from Lex, and we're kind of, bridging the gap between Puerto Rico and Bay City a little bit, just kind of catching up on what's going on in both places. Pete asked for an update on Sara, and Lex obviously wants to know what's going on with the whole, search for Vivian, Daniel, etc. So they're just trying to update each other and keep each other in the loop. And I love the relationship, just like nice father, son, they're both like action hero guys, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to, check in with each other and make sure that, and just trying to, establish their teams and, be there for the people that they love. Cause we have Lex, who was all just, trying to stay with Sara, and then he's got Sophia who's kind of helping out as well. But and then we have Pete trying to wrangle his guys and wrangle RJ at the pool.
Yeah.
Which, a little bit of lighthearted humor to, outweigh the fact that, like, yeah, they're on a rescue mission right now. But yeah, no, RJ's just chilling down by the pool.
And you could also look at, and the one thing that I really want to say that I've noticed about the Bay, just if you look beyond the characters of Lex and Pete, if you look at Tristan Rogers and Christos Andrews, it's almost like a handing of the torch, a passing of the torch of soap opera action hero. Because, I mean, if you think about Tristan Rogers, of course, he's played different characters on different soaps and stuff. But if you look at him on General Hospital, as Robert Scorpio, one of the absolute best, WSB agents and, action heroes getting into the action.
And it's kind of funny. After the passing of Tony Geary, a lot of clips were surfacing of like old clips with Luke and with Robert Scorpio, kind of like teaming up. And there was even like this one clip that I saw, and it was showing like them, like they must have just been like goofing around on set or something. It was kind of like some bloopers were included and stuff but you could just they were like the young hotshot action heroes running around saving the world, doing all that stuff. And it is kind of like passing the torch a little bit, because we cut with the Bay, like, we see all these guys like kind of almost like Avengers assemble, trying to like, to rescue their loved ones and everything like that. But it's kind of nice to see that like kind of soapy tradition of like, the guys stepping in to, rush in and save the day, the handsome. Oh, and for what it's worth, a lot of gratuitous shirtless scenes. Granted, they were in Puerto Rico, but like, my goodness, I mean, and I can honestly say I appreciate that. Another soapy stereotype, which, hey, I'll take it.
So, I mean, and just kind of finishing my thought was that from, Tristan Rogers to Christos Andrews, as we see Pete Garrett as that new adventure-seeking hero for the soap opera, and I got to give it to, again, I got to give it to Christos, who stepped it up, because not only is he playing a dual role, he's playing, a hero, main hero and villain. Because, when we see these twin storylines, whether it's Ryan and Kevin or Anna and Alex, or, I mean, hell, Drew and Jason, even though, they're not they're not.
If we want to throw all AFC into the mix, Adam and Stuart, Janet and Natalie. The twin thing, it's nothing new on soaps. But the way that they do it here on the Bay, I just, as we said before, it was it works so, just well. And despite Adam's like kind of murky, confusing origin story, just the fact that we have the payoff where, Christos gets to play him in the dual role, and we get to see this. It's great. It's soapy fun. But I will say, just in terms of, and I don't want to go like too far into, the antics that Adam is up to, but maybe it's because it's streaming, but I feel like, and obviously soaps have villains, and crazy, stuff will happen, and villains will do horrible, heinous things. But this just felt very twisted and dark. What he,
they're able to get away with more on streaming.
Definitely. I was thinking that the whole time. I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, I know that general daytime, they pushed the envelope, they've done some things, but with this, it just felt like it was on like a different, almost like an HBO kind of level, where it was but they have the advantage of being on that streaming platform where they can take that risk and just make these, because these scenes were just, especially everything that, plays out with Daniel, it's just uncomfortable to watch. And it just really, it's just like, oh God, like it really
just so good, because it's one of those things where this is shit that would really happen. Like, you've seen it in movies. You've seen it in the movies where people get kidnapped and held for ransom. Hell, it could happen in the, in real life in the Middle East or in other places. I mean, Cuba or, some of these places where, there's a lot of crime going around, and by no means am I saying everywhere is crime. That's not what I'm saying. But
No, it happened. And it was very it just felt very gritty and very just like in your face, just like, yeah, this is happening to your heroes right now. And we're not shying away from how, just disturbing it is just to see Daniel being, basically waterboarded.
Yeah.
And later
And
just
for Adam,
it was awful. It was awful to watch. But and I'm not to say that soaps on daytime haven't put characters through the absolute ringer and put them through hell, but it just felt very just raw watching this, and seeing
it's
this
the production value of the Bay that makes it better, because obviously over the years, mainstream soap operas, whether it's, ABC, CBS, whatever you want to call it, their budget has gone way down. They haven't been able to provide, the on location.
So true.
You know what I mean? Because you take any kind of soap opera, let's say General Hospital, and you have a major supervillain on there and they kidnap somebody. They have Anna Devane kidnapped right now, GH. She's in a room. She's not, in a barn. She's not, being taken out by the goons and waterboarded, in front of somebody who, and it's like, that did two things. One, it was kind of like sending Pete that there was proof of life. Daniel's still alive.
Yes.
But this is what we can do to him.
Yes. This is like, the mental torture we can inflict on you and your loved ones. We're in full control here. He was proving that he was in full control of the entire situation, despite the fact that Pete knows about Puerto Rico. So it definitely, but it was just very gritty and things to watch. And it's funny you mentioned too, though, with like soaps and budget and not being able to really capture that sort of, especially now. I will say the one time with Days, when I went back and was watching clips and episodes from, I want to say it was like 2006, 2007, somewhere in that era, they still had some budget to play with. Now they have nothing. But back then they kind of did. And I do remember them doing some kind of twisted and disturbing with Bo and with Steve and some rescue missions and some psychological torture type stuff that was happening on, EJ Wells. This character was, now EJ Tamara. Just those scenes were very uncomfortable to watch, but they had the budget. They created like this mental institution thing where Steve was basically being just electrocuted and things. And it was one of those, you had to look away because these are your heroes. These are these guys that you love, and you're just watching them get like torture inflicted upon them. And I was getting flashes to that, but it's like the fact that Days hasn't really been able to, yes, they've had storylines where there's characters that have been like, kidnapped and in precarious situations, but compared to what they were able to do in like, the 2000s, mid 2000s versus now, it's night and day. So being able to see the Bay actually have that ability, like you said, with the production value, the fact that they're on streaming, the fact that they can just create this narrative that just really gets under your skin and freaks you out. And,
and I got to give
it that, but I feel like now, like you said, they don't have the capability of the budget. They just kind of have to, work with what they've got, which isn't very much.
One thing I have to say about this storyline that's really that I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying the show in general, but one thing I have to say that I'm really looking at it as a positive of this story is the Tamara Daniel dynamic.
Yes. Yes.
For the longest time, we've said it before, Tamara's kind of like the black sheep of the family. She's the one that's not really, I don't want to say she's not welcome, but she's made her mistakes. She's made her choices in life, but she's also not at the Garrett high esteem.
Yeah. And frankly, it's like you don't really associate her with it. In previous seasons, it's like she's not the one who's hanging out with Sara and talking with her at the estate. She's not the one who was in the guest house, like the honorary. She'd show up at like the occasional party, and like we'd get actually she is a Garrett. Now I remember. But she's been so removed from that versus Daniel, versus even like Caleb, and things like that. So to have her just I mean, the scene where she is watching everything that's playing out and realizes what's happening to Daniel. I mean, kudos
Well,
to
she's forced to take the picture.
no, but that act, like her acting in that,
Yes,
just
yeah,
the
that's
expression on her face, her eyes,
yep.
she was killing it in those scenes.
That
Those scenes
that's
so well.
Christos' sister, actually. Celeste
Yes,
Fiona. Their
yes.
brother
No,
and
she
sister.
was. Kudos to her because I mean, just the horror on her face as she's trying to like take these photos. It's just like, oh my goodness, you're blowing me away here. Such good acting.
And just the way that they did this, instead of just having one of the goons take the picture just to show that they have all the cards. Excuse me. They had Tamara take the picture of her brother being drowned
Yeah.
in a water naked. Like
Yeah.
that's just all kinds of humiliating in general. Just
it was horrifying to watch. It was just, you know, it just very extreme, very intense, very well acted, very well but it felt like something you'd see on like an HBO show. It felt like something you'd be seeing there versus on a, you know, I'd sooner see that on an HBO thing than I would on current daytime in its present state. But that's just, you know, yeah.
No, but it's absolutely fantastic. The way that, you know, we give Gregory Martin his kudos all the time, you know, on this show. And and not to mention the actors that are involved, whether it's Eric Nelson or Christos or Celeste or you know, Mike Manning or, you know, I don't forgive me, RJ's character Kajij. I can't remember what it is, but you know, just the way that they're portrayed in this episode, in this show, even Summer, you know, her bubbliness, bouncing personality coming in with the wedding dress.
Silver.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Summer. Who am I missing here? No, but those scenes were great too. And also kudos to Karuche.
Yep.
Yes, because she made it seem like the beaming smile that she was giving Silver, that, you know, Vivian was just trying to, like, you know, oh, we're maid of honor, we're soul sisters, we're girlfriends, you know, just she was really selling it, you know, just really trying to, you know, create that bond so she could get more information, obviously. And obviously she gets found out, but the way that, like, she was just all like smiling and beaming, oh, we're soul sisters though, you can tell me anything. Very good acting, you know. Vivian's a good actress.
Yeah, but it's the way that she tried to get, you know, to get the information out, or to get her to undo her restraints. That was just so fantastic, because what are they going to do when she has to get into her dress? They have to cut her, you know, cut her loose.
Silver looked like, you know, ready and willing until she started thinking, oh, but it'll make Adam mad, and Adam gives me money, and then she just, and I have to say that line that she has, what was it? Like, you're asking so many questions. You're really, really bad. Like, that was almost like bone chilling. I was just like, like, this chick is like flighty and cuckoo and crazy, but she's scary too. And then she's like, oh, I'm off to target practice now. And
but it's also like it kind of gives you the vibe where she has that personality where she's easily manipulated. As we can tell, she's working for Adam.
Like, ooh, something shiny over here. Oh, something to distract. It's like, ooh, squirrel.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Exactly. But the way it's been taught to her that if people have questions, they're bad. You know what I mean? Like, she knows, you know, she's hearing
the conditioning she's been on the receiving end of, as far as
Yep.
Pretty messed up. But, you know, I will say too, and I think we mentioned this before, all the villains and like the henchmen that they've appointed to Adam, very distinct characters. It's not like just your typical like goons, you know, these especially with Silver, it's like, you know, you got this crazy woman running around with these rainbow dreads wearing this crazy dress. She's just a very unique character to have as, like, you know, the right hand, like, you know, and we have Logan, obviously, which is he's a little bit more, you know, expected, but to have her in the mix too, and just, you know, sitting there on the dock watching everything play out, you know, all smiling and just like along for the ride with it. Just, she was, you know, just a very unique character, considering she's just kind of
she reminds me of Sherry Moon Zombie's character in House of a Thousand Corpses. Have you ever seen it? Well, you're not a big horror person.
No, I can't say that I am, but
Rob Zombie's first foray into horror, and
um,
his wife Sherry Moon Zombie played. I think her name was Baby, and
mhm.
she had that bubbly personality with that dark
Yeah,
side, and that's
bubbly
what
and dark.
Silver
That
reminds me of.
describes, yeah, that definitely describes everything that we see from Silver in this episode. And even like the exchange between her and Logan, like the two of them do have chemistry.
Yeah,
It's their own little weird
when she
twisted.
was
By a little
commenting
shorter
about when she
Silver.
was commenting about Daniel,
Yeah.
Daniel being naked and his manhood. Sounds
Yeah.
like that should be a segue for
Online
Lori.
stuff. Yeah, just very, just and it does establish though the humiliation. You wonder at the beginning of that sequence, okay, he's shirtless, is he completely stripped down? And they make it abundantly clear, like, oh yeah, no, full on, they just want to
Oh
humiliate.
yeah,
And it drives that home with a humorous line. But it's just like, oh God, okay, he is actually just completely stripped down now and getting tortured. This is awful.
and it's the other mind game that Adam plays is afterwards when Daniel's back in the
Yeah.
barn, and he's just kind of sitting in the fetal position, like getting his bearings back. He's
Yeah.
naked, he's humiliated in front of his sister, and his face put into the water, and
Yeah.
then Adam just comes in and just calmly tells him, I'm in charge now. You're loyal to me. And then he kisses him.
Yeah. This is going to sound a little, I'm not sure if you ever watched the show Homeland, but Showtime show on, a number of years ago, but still the first season of that show, one of the best I've ever seen. But they do have a lot of, characters who are tortured prisoner of war, main character in the first season getting tortured. I was getting vibes to that show watching this episode, and that show
Wow.
to me just, like we were on that level where you're just so invested in this character and you're just seeing him getting just completely, because it was the same kind of deal where his torturer becomes like, kind of the man he turns to, and it just turns into this whole ugly. Homeland's a good show, but I wasn't expecting to see the Bay kind of cross into that territory, when I watched this initially, and rewatching it, I'm like, yeah, it taps into that. And it's disturbing on a lot of levels, especially with the kiss scene and all of that. It's just very chilling, very disturbing to watch, very well acted. But I tell you, it does kind of lend itself to Adam. We've always said from the beginning, even when Adam was played by other, when oh my gosh, his name.
Chad Gould.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
Even then, with the eavesdropping on Vivian and Pete being together, he's always had that creepy vibe. They still bring that in with they still have that like creepy sort of sexual sort of overtone with this character that just like it crosses into territory that just gets really disturbing really fast. And they've kept that thread throughout. So yeah, just disturbing on a lot of levels, that whole sequence. And then you feel, you look at Daniel and he's just sitting there shivering, and it's like, oh, he has a blanket, but now he's just even more just, oh God, it was just, oof. Very disturbing.
Folks, if you're feeling disturbed by a family member or by a sexual partner, I have somebody that you can talk to.
Are you having problems in the bedroom? Are you having problems with your sex life? Well, I know just who to talk to, and that's Lori. CoachingByLori.com is where you could set up voice, video, or text sessions to talk about sex, to talk about intimacy, kinks, fetishes, taboos, fantasies, or your sexuality. You could talk about coming out and what to expect when you come out. Lori is a sex therapist and talks about your sexual health. Lori's offering all new clients 20% off their first session with the coupon code WELCOME. That's Coaching by Lori, LORIE.com. Coupon code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session.
All right, folks. And, I have to give it to the actors in the Bay, because they are doing stuff like they signed on for a soap opera, which obviously it is a soap by definition, but it's so much more than that. It almost feels like a primetime drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the way, like you said, like a Showtime show, because
Yeah.
of how much they push the envelope.
Yes. Just and the acting just across the board in this episode. Just you have all these sequences, all these mind games happening, all these characters just trying to get out of this horrible situation, and you just see it's just well acted across the board. And we say that all the time, but I felt like it was just really sold so well here, because it's still one of those, it was haunting. It was disturbing to see all this play out, to especially our beloved heroes. How are they going to get out of this mess?
I will say that. All right, so I'm going to do. Normally, I'd only do this on Suds News, but I am going to go ahead because I do have a what the fudge moment of this episode, and it's RJ at the pool, and the way that because he's in the pool, he's so excited because the drinking age in Puerto Rico is 18.
Yeah,
so,
Miss Pina Colada.
There's Pina Colada, and the waitress he kind of gets hung up on the fact that the waitress calls him mi amor,
Yes.
Spanish for love, obviously.
Yes.
And the way that he's just going back and forth, and then the little girl who's in the pool, who I would say, I'm thinking it was like maybe the little sister of the waitress. Or
could have been. Or just, kid picks up on the whole situation. They're flirting with you.
The only thing I will say, the only complaint I have, when they do the captions, make it so that it's not a light caption on a light scene, because you can hardly read it. If it's going to be a light background, put dark. You know what I mean? Dark.
Yeah.
Caption.
I took 8 years of Spanish. I still need the subtitles.
Yeah, I took 5 years of Spanish.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, that was funny, because she's the little girl, like, oh, he's flirting with you, and then here comes Pete and Caleb, and they're like, and he's like, oh, hey, are you with you got to have your head in the game. What are you doing?
Yeah. Are you with me? Are you here? Because right now it looks like you're just goofing off at the pool, ordering drinks, and not thinking about the fact that but RJ, to his credit, says, like, my phone's right here. I am locked in. Puts his shirt back on. His head is still in the game, but they are still kind of playing the little kid narrative with him. He is kind of 14.
Then he goes ahead and puts his phone in his back pocket of his wet pants.
True. It's not the brightest. I mean, he's trying, but yeah, come on, bud.
And folks, that What the Fudge moment of the week is brought to you by What the Fudge Homemade Confections. If you're in the New Haven, Connecticut area, or traveling through, or anywhere in Connecticut that you can set up a meetup spot, you can order What the Fudge Homemade Confections. What the Fudge Homemade Confections is made in a cottage kitchen, so she's not able to ship out, but we could figure out ways around that, possibly.
I was able to sample a little bit at Christmas time, and I have to say, very, my father gave the fudge the highest praise it could possibly get, because it said it's as good, if not better, than my great aunt, who used to make fudge, similar, at home. High praise from, so consider that a review.
And, yeah, no, and she also came out with cordial cherry fudge specifically for Valentine's Day, coming up next weekend or 2 weeks from now. And like I said, go over to whatthefudgect.com or facebook.com/whatthefudgect. Check out her menu. Like I said, if you're able to do a drop-off spot in Connecticut, go ahead and get that set up and buy some fudge for your sweetheart. Give her, she's also got biscotti too, and that's fantastic as well. So check that out. Again, whatthefudgect.com, facebook.com/whatthefudgect. Use promo code SUDS for 10% off your purchase. RJ, he's kind of caught between that youthful innocence and youthful wanting to be part of the team, but still wanting to have fun.
Right. No, they're definitely, and the actors, he's having fun with it, and you can tell. kind of playing up like the flirt, the fun guy, the almost little kid like attitude. But then when push comes to shove and Pete is like, are you in this? You need to show me that you're in this. He does get that resolute look in his eye like, no, I am here for you. I am here for the family and I want to help. Even if it means sticking my phone in my wet swimsuit and, you know, not necessarily doing exactly what you asked, but trying. Trying to help.
And then Pete gets the picture of Daniel. And Caleb sees that he's like, okay, we're going to Cordero right now.
He doesn't even, I appreciated the fact that he didn't actually show, like Caleb didn't get a good visual of it because it's just like, we didn't need that extra layer of just traumatic, you know, seeing him react. And Pete knew that as well. He knew like, you know, showing this will not accomplish anything. We know it's Daniel. We know we need to get back, but showing this to you right now is just going to, because you just see Caleb frozen in the background, just completely just, your heart breaks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mike Manning is a fan. You know, we've talked to him on this podcast. Mike Manning is a fantastic actor, and he's able to portray his feelings so well on camera.
Oh yeah, just you feel all the anguish that he is in that moment. And, you know, Pete knows it too. And Pete knows that, you know, showing him a photo of his, you know, husband just being, you know, humiliated and degraded in that sense wouldn't do any good to anybody.
Yeah.
But, oh, goodness. Yeah. Even like this, just some of the dialogue, though, even in the sequence when, I mean, you got like, aim the bloody camera properly, get him back to his cage. I mean, even in the midst of all like this awful... He gets in some of the best lines, and I know I've said this before, but some of Adam's one-liners and some of the stuff that comes out of that man's mouth.
To be fair, it's kind of like the Bond villain because you know he's witty, he's charming, he's got charisma, and he's got the British accent.
Yeah.
So the way that he says,
like it's like British, almost shifting into like Australian. Either way, though, it was very just
yeah. No, it's you know, and the way you know, use that bloody camera, hold that bloody camera still, and you know,
there's superhero brothers on the way. We don't have much time, and even like something called someone a slag, which you know, I'm sure it's like, you know, not obviously it's an insult, but it's an insult that I haven't like heard get thrown out there in quite some time. I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting choice of words.
Yeah, what the hell? I have to figure out what that means.
Yeah, but you know,
in the midst of a woman who has many casual sexual encounters and relationships. That's British English from Coppola.
All right then.
A whore, basically.
Learn a little something every day.
Yeah.
But
then,
yeah.
The way that he also, while Tamara was, you know, crying and like begging him to stop, she's like, or right before Logan gives her the camera, he goes, we know you have no problem getting naked on camera. It's your brother's turn now.
Yeah. Oh. Just the creepy sexual overtone that we get with Adam. It's like, it's been a through line since the start. I know, but it's just disturbing to see it in all its glory in, you know, these, you know, episodes lately. It's just like, ugh. Just makes it extra creepy.
I think a lot of it has to do because if you think about it, I mean, now granted, you know, the Adam character, this is a different Adam than the one that Chad Duell portrayed. He was still the imposter that was recast and died, you know, in the city. That he was kind of brainwashed into thinking he was Adam.
Yes.
The Christos version is Adam and has a lot more inappropriate sexual chemistry with his stepmother, with, you know, the way he put it.
I mean, just the fact that even when he mentions the little, I kind of almost forget about the stepmother, you know, component until the Silver mentions, oh, there's going to be a little flower girl. And then you remember like, there's a little kid on this freaking island.
Yeah.
Like there's a woman with her daughter here, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's that element too. And then just kind of cycles back to that character being in the mix as well, and it's just adding extra layers to the creepiness and the weirdness.
Yeah. But I mean, we look forward to it because this show is so good. Next week we'll be at episode 11 of season 7. It's flying by.
We're powering through. And I mean, we did have, obviously everything that's taking place on the island and everything that's happening in Puerto Rico is very, central. But we did get, just a little allusion to Sophia not wanting to disturb or add to Pete's stress by not revealing Sarah's condition is not great. I mean, she doesn't get into the full scope of it, but yeah, Sarah's not doing so hot either. As far as we know, she's still in limbo land, trying to figure out if she's even coming back. So it's, just all of our heroes are in a bind right now.
They really are. And next week we'll pick up on it right from there. I mean, we kind of covered everything in the episode.
I believe we did. Yeah.
I mean, our episodes tend to go a little longer than the actual episode itself.
I will say one quick detail. One other thing that I noted with the dress that Vivian was very pretty dress. I will say Adam has decent taste. That was a very nice one.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. He's
it's just pretty, I thought.
Yeah.
She would look gorgeous. Of course, Karucha would look gorgeous wearing a paper bag. So, but it was, no, I just made a quick note of that. Like, for all of his insane, weird villainy flaws, he doesn't know how to pick out a pretty dress.
Yes. And on that note, folks, we're gonna close this shop up because we've talked about everything in this episode. And next week, like I said, we'll get to season 7, episode 11. As we move towards the halfway point of the season. And we just keep on going, and we'll pick up the rescue mission for Pete and Caleb and RJ, and just to see how everything comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So Kim, where can everybody find you?
So I'm Misfit8690 on Twitter. I'm a Little Misfit 52 on YouTube as well as on Instagram. So feel free to follow me there for chatting about soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
All right, fantastic. As always, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook at Vinny Suds. On Twitter, our network account on Twitter is at Suds Media. That's normally where I'm tweeting out of. Also on Instagram and Threads, it's at Suds and Squared Circle. On TikTok and Twitch, we are at Suds_media. But for everything Suds related, you can go to linktree.suds-media.com. And don't forget to go to suds-media.com, which brings you to our YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe to the network, turn on the notification bell, and you know what? You can go ahead and enter to win a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt just by supporting our network. On any of our videos where you see the monetization box, the little super box, it's a $sign in a box. Click that, support the network. Every super chat, super thanks, super sticker that comes in is an entry into our monthly giveaway for a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. And it's going on for the entire year, every month. So we will hold the drawing live on Suds News. So you want to help the show, help the network, and win a t-shirt, go over to our website, suds-media.com, and leave us a super chat. You can also see some of our merch on YouTube, but also you can go to merch.suds-media.com, bring you to our spread shop, and you can buy whatever you would like, whether it's t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, hoodies. You could also get these cute little cuddle buddies. And remember, if you buy a doggy bandana or a doggy cuddle buddy, the proceeds go directly to Samantha's friends.
Yes.
All right, so folks, we are out of time. Join me on Sunday for Booked Beyond Reality. I hope you guys enjoy the week, and we will be back next week as we go Dockside at the Bay. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everyone.